Well, the silly season or the jolly season is coming up, and I tell you, one man you definitely need to go and see is Mark from Stay Well and his team. Mark, you're here to give us some tips and obviously some not magic pills, but definitely some help along the way.
For sure. So I wanted to talk about stress. And most people think about stress as just things getting to them, but there's a lot more to stress than just you know, letting things get to you, or there's a physiological stress, so what's actually happening inside your body, and then there's the emotional stress. And there's actually a real relationship between the two of those things. They've found now that if you actually will yourself to die or will yourself to get better, there is a process in which the body actually will take that emotional state and make that at a cellular level and produce chemicals to either start cellular death or to start cellular regeneration. And we see this obviously in people who have terminal illnesses who don't want to die, they've got things to live for, and go on to make amazing lives despite, and we get the people too, like the Aboriginal pointing of the bone, where people are told you're going to die and then they actually will themselves to die. We don't want to probably go at either of those sorts of depths, but as the Christmas season approaches, we need to realise that we are going to be going through some stressful times, and we need to make some plans to deal with that. So we need to give ourselves permission to get some rest. I don't know how many people have actually planned to have a break. We need to also have a daily rest time as well, whether it's a 5-minute blink and breathe, where you literally just for 5 minutes you sit there, stare out at the clouds or the space, no radio, no cell phone, no nothing, and just for 5 minutes blink and breathe, because you have to do those things.
Great tip.
Whether we make a 30-minute appointment with ourselves, so that when someone says, what are you doing tomorrow? You can say, well, I've got an appointment between 2:30 and 3, which is your time. No one's ever going to ask you what that appointment's about. But if you say, oh, I have me time between 2:30 and 3, people don't look at you, you know. But that's very, very important to make some space for you so that you can then be your best for everyone around you. And obviously we've got some products on the table there. We've got some magnesium, we've got some stress and vitality and stress and anxiety support. We've got your B vitamins, which are used in massive amounts during stress. Probiotics, because you need to look after your gut, and there's a real relationship between the gut and the brain. Some vitamin C and other bits, but ultimately, before you start putting stuff in, you need to ask yourself, what can I take out? And we need to identify the things that are going to be stressing us out. You know, those people that you get together with and you're always worse off after you spend time with them than you were before.
The sponges. The
sponges, the energy suckers. We need to give ourselves permission to actually not spend time with those people. We also need to be able to thank people for the opportunity to do something, but to say, you know, look, my diary's really full. A lot of people struggle to say no. So it's much better then perhaps to suggest, hey, look, thanks so much for that opportunity, or to be able to come to your place, but I'm so sorry, my diary's just so full right now, I wouldn't be the best that I could be at your function, but I'd love to hear from you later on in the year so we can connect again, rather than saying, sure, yeah, I'll squeeze you in and make some time for that. Because whatever you do, it's like the old adage with the jar, where if you put all the rocks in, then all the big stuff, then you can still squeeze the little things in with the sand. But if you fill the jar full of sand, you won't get any of the rocks in, your family, your work, your spiritual life and so on in there. And so we need to go back to the basics and remember that we have to find time for ourselves so that we can give that time to other people.
Wow, listen to that, Mr. Mark from Stay Well. That is amazing advice. But as you said, taking a bit out, we do need to come along and actually have a conversation with you and the team. For sure. And maybe put us on a path to that. It's as simple as that. Well,
because if you're down and you haven't recovered, then you're going to need to, once you've taken the bad stuff out, you're going to need to put the good stuff in. But that's a personal thing, and that's where you need to come and see us at Stay Well Pharmacy.
Yeah. Don't go to the supermarket and just willy-nilly pick something off a shelf. You need to go to the professionals, and that is what Mark and his team do so well. That's Stay Well Pharmacy, 27 Shands Road in Hornby, phone 0508 Stay Well, a brilliant website, staywell.co.nz.